I don't see her yet, Susan.
Yeah, she's waiting for you to email her or send that. I gave you the phone number. Just send the link to her phone number.
Okay.
And you can go ahead and unmute me and I can start.
You are.
Oh, I'm unmuted. Hi, everybody. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, cool. Well, we're having some technical difficulties with ShaHaWin, which is not surprising because when she starts talking, you're going to find out why any external forces would have wanted to prevent her from teaching what she's about to teach. She's a very amazing woman.
I need her number, Susan.
Oh, hold on. Let me just give Rodney that number. Didn't I just give it to you, Rodney? That was that 575.
I didn't write it down, sorry.
Oh. Gonna switch over to her phone, guys. Okay, Rodney, I just sent it over. Okay, so hi, everybody. So the speaker that we have coming on when she gets on is ShaHaWin, and she is a phenomenal person. She's done some classes up here in my area. She travels all over the place right now. She's kind of locked down like we all are in Tennessee, but her teachings are of a very high caliber. And the things that I have learned from her are huge. Learned about protections. I've learned about protecting others. I have learned about, she's opened my eyes to a million things that I hadn't realized were going on in the world. And when you have somebody like that in your life, you never know what you're going to learn the next time you talk to them. So at the end, I've asked her if she would give out her contact information for anybody that wants to get in touch with her and learn more and find out about different things that are in your life that are going on that, you might be interested in having her help you with. So what I'm going to do, I just got off a call that was so phenomenal. I don't even know how I ended up being on it, but I was invited to come and speak with the International Global Conference of Women. And they're working on the 12 big UN things for women. And they're just this amazing organization. And I was invited to speak with two other women. And one is Barbara Brandt. She's a Mohawk from Canada, an elder Barbara. And the other one is Joanne Shenandoah, who I was telling her, Joanne Shenandoah, in case you haven't heard of her, is a phenomenal singer, musician, composer, and she is so beautiful and spiritual and strong. And the first song I ever heard that she had done was years ago, and it was about the Thai's old wordle, and it was a fairy tale for children. And it was just beautiful. And I was at a time in my own life where things were so challenging. I was beginning as an adopted child to find out who I am. I began looking for my mother. I was running into brick walls. It was really interesting. And Joanne's music over the years took me through so many big things. I had a husband who died. She, not even knowing anything about me, her music sailed me through that. When the time came to begin working with grandmothers, she has women's songs. She has an album called Matriarch. I'm trying to remember, I think she said something like 250 or something albums. This woman is phenomenal. And she's my hero. So when I found out I was going to be speaking with both of these women, I was terrified. And I thought, how am I going to do this? You can ask Rodney. I made him stay up with me all night last night, practicing on my computer so I could try to get just the right angle, you know, so that I wouldn't look too fat or too silly. I wanted to put my altar on there, so I was having it so it would shine down on the floor, and it was awful. Finally, the dog just said, "Mom, that's it. Go to bed. Forget it. Just forget it." So I went on there today, and I got to say something really interesting, and I want to share this with you guys, because what I got to say to Joanne was, how many times in your life do you get to sit with someone who has been a hero to you? How many times in your life do you get to sit with someone who saved your life? Not just once or twice, but several times. How many times do you get to sit with someone and sing them a song? And I did. I sang her a song. I was so totally blown away that I had the courage to do that. And you know what? It was the most amazing time. Because why? Because we're women. And it's not that it's not amazing with you men, because you men are very amazing. But it's something different when women sit together with women. So we had the three of us women that were speaking, and then above us we had the three women that were the organizers of this Global Women's Congress, which is all over the world. And it was just so phenomenal, because you know what happened to us? Just like that, we became girls. Isn't that what happens when women get together? We're all like all that, you know, for like about what, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 7 minutes. We're all very, oh yeah. And then all of a sudden we started laughing. And and it was really serious topic. We're talking about the women that are missing, and we're talking about the children that we want to bring home. But you know what? We have to have that kind of connection too, to be able to go into that really serious place. So I'm watching Rodney talking to ShaHaWin, and it's just amazing because she said she's never had this happen. She's on Zoom calls all the time. She uses the same computer. She uses the same settings. And now this time she can't get on. So we're trying to get her on her phone, which also works. So I'm trying to see what they're doing over there. But anyway, so let me take this moment to be a commercial, because I don't know if you guys have seen this, that we got our bumper stickers made. And that came up. I have a really hard time telling people about things involving money. And I have a hard time with money anyway. So Marsha Forrest, who was our first speaker, and Gail Whitlow, who's coming, we crossed the entire country with them teaching me how to do tapping so that I could get myself over whatever that is that has something to do with me and money. I have a thing with money where I keep it far, far, far away from me, really far away from me. And I have to change. So this bumper sticker is what we're going to be sharing out. And it has to do with bringing home the lost girls, the lost women. And if you look around on the screen, you're going to see somebody named Ted Silverhand. And Ted came up in conversation today because I was sitting there trying to figure out, how do I talk about the bumper stickers? And all of a sudden, Barbara Brand started talking about Ted Silverhand, whose idea it was for the bumper stickers. And then I got to hold up my bumper sticker. And then I got a chance to tell everybody about it. So I'm doing it again now with Ted. And the other thing, while we're here waiting for ShaHaWin, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but this is the calendar. And Ted was also the one that made it possible for us to get these calendars made. And Marianne and I have talked about it. Several others have talked about it. Now that we've got the bumper stickers, we're going to get ready to send them out. But what they are, excuse me, is they show us month by month who the speakers are. Because I know that you guys haven't had a chance yet to find out, because I don't post them. I just post them like that week before. But for example, for February, which is this month, I'll show you that. We have ShaHaWin here. And then next week we have Ted Silverhand. Isn't that interesting how he kept coming up? He kept coming up in our talk. It was so odd. It was just so strange. but he's behind us. He's helping us so that we can do this. He's just like all of you men. And Simon, I see you there. And there are other men here. Howard's here. Dan's here. I see, who else do I see? I don't see anybody because I don't have my glasses on. Sorry. Oh, there's Art. Okay. So anyway, all of you men, we can't do it without you. You are, and Rodney, you're our protectors. You are supporters. You're helping us.
Susan,
Yes.
we have her on right
Can y'all
now.
hear me?
Okay.
Can you, and we see her too.
I cannot
Yeah.
hear y'all.
Where
Okay.
is she?
She's,
Oh, there she is.
okay.
She's
So
on as my computer.
She can't hear us, so I told her when you give her a thumbs up, she's just gonna start talking.
Aw. That's so hard. Okay. So with that, I'm going to introduce now to you ShaHaWin. And I'm not going to say much about her because she's going to speak for herself. But just try to clear yourselves. I have some sage here. Whatever it is that's causing this little kind of disruption that we're having, it's not a big deal because nothing can stop this. It's like a wave in the ocean. You know, nothing will stop it. And that's how ShaHaWin is. So we're going to go ahead. And with that, we're going to, prayers have been said. All of the amen.
Oh, I don't know. I can't hear a
Turn this over.
thing.
And now
So,
ShaHaWin.
Good,
Now it's
good.
you.
That's good.
Now it's
would
you.
y'all like me to just go ahead and start?
Go ahead and start.
Okay. This is bad, you know. I was hoping that we could all have like some questions after I talk, but undoubtedly that's not going to happen since I can't hear anything from my computer today. Hello, I'm ShaHaWin, and I'm so honored to be here to talk with all of y'all today, and I'm so thankful for Susan and Rodney for letting me be a part of the series that is going on these Zoom talks, because they're very important to bring the knowledge back to the people. And there's a lot of knowledge to share. Each and every one of us each week has a part of the pieces of the puzzles that we're all putting together. So y'all bear with me. I'm a much better talker when I'm talking with somebody than just by myself. So bear with me. I'll get my message out to you, and I hope y'all enjoy it and that it helps each and every one of you put your own pieces together of what part do you play in this time in where we're at, because we're in a very important time of waking up. I would like to start off with a little prayer to start our group thing off. So I'll just start. Creator, all that is, we come to you in prayer that we all may quiet our minds and open our hearts to the oneness that is the source of all life, so that we can learn to walk softly on Mother Earth in honoring all things, as we heal in ways that bring harmony to all. We thank you for guiding and protecting us on our journey, which brings us all together to do thy will. Thank you, Father. Susan asked me to come on this show because I've had a vision, and I had not shared that vision with anybody, but as I was watching the shows each week, Spirit kept nudging me, because almost everyone that was on the show talked about my father, who is Rolling Thunder, which I thought was very quinky dink. It was a quinky dink that everybody brought him up. And so once that started happening, I had this vision, and the vision was Spirit showed me there was 3 waves that were created. That one of them was created back in the 60s. Well, actually started in the 50s, And my father was part of that wave. Mad Bear Anderson, the Iroquois Nation, the Shoshones, the Hopis, all the medicine people got together, and all the healers, because they knew that they had to gather up the knowledge and the traditions and the ceremonies that were being lost. They knew this was very important. So they started making groups like the White Roots Council, the Native Indian Youth Council, just many councils that had the same intentions, and the intentions was to gather the people up, let them know that all this knowledge needed to be put up to give back to the generations, the next generation, because it was getting lost. That was the first wave. And it actually has took 50 years for that wave to hit us. We are on that wave right now. And there are some of us that actually have rode from the first wave into the second wave. Blue Water, if anybody knows who I'm talking about, that does the Prophecy Keepers. And later on, after I talk about my vision, I'll talk and share with you how I started seeing the pattern in it to understand what this vision was showing me. Ted Silverhand, the next person that'll be speaking next week, he's part of the first wavers. He's riding into the second wave with us. And it's a great honor to know these people, because with them, they bring a lot of the knowledge that we didn't have on the first wave, that we're just now getting from them and the others that pushed this wave of energy out. And it was a wave of energy, and it took a lot to make this energy wave to go out. There's so much to tell you. I don't know where to begin, so I'm going to try to do the best I can. That's what leads me on my journey. Is I was going to talk about becoming the hollow bone. But before I can even speak about becoming a hollow bone, people have to understand what energy is. Now, energy is everything. It's in everything. It's in your pen that you write with. It's in your water. It's in the couch that you sit on. Energy is everything, and energy flows all the time, and is an indefinite. It's infinite. It's always there, whether you can see it or not. And it's very important for us to understand how our energy works in our body. We have energy that comes in our body, and we have energy that comes out of our body. When the energy comes out of our body, it makes an auric field around us, and it uses different vibrations to push that energy out, like an energy wave. Okay, so it uses color, it uses vibration, it uses movement. So there's a lot of stuff that people need to learn about their own energy and how that energy works in them, so that they can be a better conduit for Creator to help push this new wave that we are fixing to create out to the next generation. We are what we are called the second wavers. But before we can even start creating this wave, we have to understand how that energy works, because it comes in cycles and patterns. That's why we have the moon cycles. That's why we have spring, summer, winter, fall, earth, air, wind, and fire. All of this is connected into the pattern of the energies of the universe. And it's like It's like a time watch. If you turned it over and looked at all the dials, each one of them represent the pattern that we're in creation. And each one is turning at a different time. But we're getting a reset. So Spirit kind of slowed down some of those circles so that we could catch up and click into them at the proper time frame, which is what we're doing right now. And a lot of people see like the coronavirus as something that's really bad, but it was actually part of the reset button, which I'll go in and explain after I finish talking about the waves. I'll go back and explain that about the reset button. So like I was saying, the first wave was ancestors gathering up the information and the traditions and ceremonies that were lost, so that they could be presented to us. We are now on the second wave, which is the wave where we're actually receiving our shawl to come home, being wrapped by Creator in his love to let you know that this knowledge was brought to you so that you could bring it to the next generation, the babies that are coming in. We will make groups too, just like the first wavers did. Okay, and these groups will all connect with the same intentions: to dance, to pray, to gather all the information up that we already have, but to walk it out in peace and understanding and unity, that we're all one people, that we're not individuals, we're one unit of people. And it's very important to understand that only love, through love and honoring of each other, will we heal. We don't really have to worry about healing Mother Earth, because Mother Earth does heal herself. We have to heal the humanness that we have put on Mother Earth. And with this second wave, we're going to learn about our shadow self. We each have one of those. I call it the good, the bad, and the uglies, because we all have that. And we all try to hide our skeletons in the closet. Well, let me tell you, as long as you hide those skeletons in the closet, you're not going to go nowhere. Okay? You need to take those skeletons out of your closet. You need to tell everybody what you did. And you say, yeah, I did that. And not be ashamed of it, because the best thing you can tell them is, that was me then, but that is not how I am now. And not be afraid. We have all made mistakes. We've all done stuff we're ashamed of, but you can't hold on to that shame. You can't hold on to that guilt. You have to let those skeletons out of that closet and embrace them as what has made you strong and independent and moving forward in peace and love today. Because if you didn't go through them, you wouldn't be who you are today. And I will tell you this, each and every one of us has growth spurts. And those growth spurts are the hard parts that we have to deal with. And with that, it comes with pain. But instead of thinking of it as, oh, this is very painful, if you are aware that it is a growth spurt to move you forward, you will get through that so much easier than hanging on to the emotional part of the pain and the discomfort that it created. Just know you're growing. That's why you're going through it. And know that it won't last forever, because it's energy. And when you understand that energy is a wave and it has its highs and lows and its cycles that it has to go through, you will be able to go a little bit smoother on your path, because you'll know that it will not last forever. And it is really how you think about it that makes the difference. If you're going to be mad at the world, then that's what you're going to get back. If you're driving down the road and you're hollering at the next car because they're going too slow, guess what? That's what you're going to get back. You put it out, it's going to come back to you. It's energy. So it's very important to understand, to recognize what type of energy you're putting out. I tell people all the time, wherever your attention is, that's where you're putting your energy. So we all have free will. Your next door neighbor, your mother, father, your brother, sister can make you very angry sometimes with some of the stuff they do. But only you can choose through your free will to allow that to bother you. And that's what you've got to learn. They don't make you mad. You choose that. And when you can learn that you choose how you feel, then you can step out of all that ugliness and all that sorrow and all that sadness, and you can continue on and have a really happy journey. It doesn't mean you won't have those days, because you will. But those days will become shorter and shorter once you change that mindset. We are all one people. We all are wanting peace and love and togetherness and family. And that is what we have to bring back. This is what the second wave is all about, is to bring that back. Don't leave anybody out. We have so many people right now from the first wave, which was the separation, that are so lonely because they have no one to turn to, no one that will talk to them, no one that even supports them and tell them that everything's going to be okay. We have to bring all that back to create this wave. And it is our time right now to choose what part you're going to play in it, because we all play a part. And if you choose to sit still, I will guarantee you that the energy will come and move you. And it will be a painful energy because you're sitting still. And that is something Creator does not want you to do. He wants you to get up and move with the energy, create things, make things happen, make things better for each one of us. Each one of us here are brothers and sisters. We are so connected. We feel and have the same feelings. We hurt the same way. And you just don't realize how nice it is to be able to call somebody and say, you know, I'm feeling a little depressed today. And they turn around and tell you, it's okay to be like that. It'll pass. I got your back until you feel better. What can I do to make you feel better? Because when you do that and release that type of healing to your brothers and sisters, you will also receive that healing too. We are all a mirror effect of each other. And we really, truly have to decide where we're going to be in this creation of this wave, this energy wave. It has to be, these groups have to be come together. There'll be groups. Spirit showed me bubbles of groups of people. And each one of these groups was doing a different thing. Some were praying, some were singing, some were dancing, some were doing ceremony. But each and every one of these groups were connected to another group, and their intentions were the same thing. And it's going to bring about the healing for the third generation and the healing for us. But we have to build that and create it. So now I want to go to the third wave. The third wave by the time we get to the third wave and pushed out the second wave, there will be many of us, because I'm not the only one that has gotten this vision. There's many other people that will have visions like this, and will start telling people. We will be building communities, healing centers, so that people can come and gather and learn and live. We'll be taking care of and fixing the problems that go along with the youth, the elders. We'll actually bring hope back to the elders, because right now all they do is worry about how they're going to survive, because a lot of them have been cast aside. Just like the children. A lot of children, when they turn 18, and this is part of the separation, the breaking down that started back in the 60s, 50s and 60s. But today's children, when they turn 18, their parents, most of them, kick them out. They don't tell them how they're supposed to live. They tell them, you're an adult, you figure it out. And that makes them homeless, and makes them have struggles, because they haven't had the guidance to understand what to do. We have to bring that all back to the children, so that they don't never have to experience any of that. And that's what the third wave is going to be. But along with the third wave comes the peace, walking in peace and unity and in love, unconditional love for one another. And when that happens, that will be the healing of the sacred hoop that has been broken. Now I'm going to go back to the first wave and kind of show you some patterns. Back when my father was alive, the separation was going on. And this separation started with the breaking down of the family unit. Okay. And it happened all over the world. And some things were worse for others than it was for the other people. But the breakdown began. And one of the biggest part of the breakdown was when they took the Native kids and put them in the boarding schools. Now, during this time, the generations, around 3 to 4 generations, lost their language, were beaten until they wouldn't speak or teach. So there became a big gap in the knowledge and the lessons. And that's where the elders back then gathered up all that knowledge, because they saw this, they were shown this by spirit. We started having all the kids that were missing being put in on the milk cartons. And back then they also started to make communities. They tried to make communities, but everybody that tried to make the communities wore long hair and wore flowers in their hair. As we know, that was the hippie time. And so people didn't like it. So people condemned it. And eventually those that were trying to build those communities of love and unity got stopped. Well, those all have to come back. That's part of the third wave. We have to bring it back. We have to build them, and we have to show them that we're not going to let them tear it down this time. We're going to be stand strong. Each and every one of us has to choose if we're going to be on this path or not. And the ones that do, the longer you stay on the path, the stronger you become, because you become connected to everyone. And each time somebody connects, that's a stronger pillar for God to do his work through. Now, I'm going to go to blue water, because blue water started on the first wave in the 1990s. I think he went to sit with my dad in 1992, around that time frame. Blue Water was a Christian man, and he started having visions, and they led him to my dad. And when my dad met him, that's when they all came up with having Prophecy Keepers Radio. And so he was given the okay to help gather the information that they had gathered and put it all in one place. You have to understand, back then, it took them a long time to spread this information out and gather it, because they didn't have the internet like we do today. Okay. They didn't have cell phones like we do today. So a lot of it was the traveling and coming together, in person. And one of the biggest things that they didn't have that helped move the energy to create this wave was people dancing. And that was because they had stopped allowing the natives to dance. So they had to find other ways. The medicine people had to find other ways to get this energy to be dispersed out in this wave. And so guess what? They found people that liked music. That's why my dad hung around the Grateful Dead and did a lot of things, because his intentions and the prayers were sent on that energy wave that the people created that were having fun with just listening to music, because that was the only way they could create the wave to go out at that time. We do not have to do that, because we can have our ceremonies and our dances now. So we can all gather at a dance and push the energy out with the intention of what we're doing. So there's a lot of things that we can do to make this happen. It's a big job, but it's an adventure, and that's how we all have to look at it. You want to be loved? Love's here. You've just got to grab hold on it and show everybody the love, because it lives in your heart. Not the anger, not the ugliness. You can't push that ugliness away. Just know that is a part of you, but you're not going to allow that part to control what you do, because you're going to create this beautiful part. And we had the choice now and the chance to create this, and there won't be no stopping it. The more people that get involved, you can't stop energy. It's indefinite. It runs forever. And I honestly believe that it will not take 50 years for the second wave to come through to the third generation, to the next generation to come. I think it'll be a lot faster, because we have all the knowledge that we need to put it together and kind of give it what it looks like. There'll be other people that have visions to add to this too. And it will grow into a beautiful thing of unity. This is also, the second wave is also going into the third wave, the whirling rainbow prophecy coming to fulfillment. And I think that's one of the Hopi's prophecies, but I'm not quite for sure, but I know it's one of the prophecies. And we all playing a part of that. So it's exciting times, very exciting times. So I want to go back to tell you about being the hollow bone, since we have went through the waves. And I've showed you what Spirit has shown me. I hope in my lifetime to become a hollow bone. Each one of us has a soul purpose, a destiny. I'm not there yet, but I hope I can achieve it in this lifetime. Because one of the biggest things to be a hollow bone is you have to move your whole egoic self, your wants and your needs out of the way, and work from Creator as a clear conduit that only brings in love, unity, and honor to all things, and has to walk it out, not just talk it, but has to walk it out and show it to the people. So, like I said, I haven't achieved that yet, but my purpose is to achieve it in this lifetime. And each one of us has a soul destiny. If you don't know what that is, I can give you 4 steps to help you get in touch with Creator so that he can show you what your purpose is, where you really stand at in all of this. The very first step is to ask Creator to help you balance your egoic self. That's the very first thing you have to do. You got to get rid of your egoic self. That little booger is the war that we are all in right now. And it's a mean war, and nobody can help us except for yourself. But you're strong warriors. I just want to let you know, y'all are all strong warriors, or you wouldn't be here at this time. He put the best here so we could create the best. So just because we are the best, we are worthy of all things. So take off and run with that, because we are. Okay, the second step is to recognize your energy in yourself, how it works. What does it do? Then recognize Creator's energy, because everything has energy. When you touch a brush, you can feel the energy. If you're attuned to really understand an energy, you'll be able to feel every energy that is coming off of everything. And when you can learn that and recognize it, you are getting more connected to spirit, because we are all energy. The third is to, when you consciously use the Creator's energy, not your own wants, not your own will, but Creator's, to move and heal people and speak to people. Because this is not just about one individual. It's about unity in all people and all things, bringing it back to the whole, to heal it. And the fourth is to give the energy of Creator to others. And when you do that, you will learn to heal yourself and heal the world. And that's a lot. And really, that was my time with you too. And I would really love to take questions. I wonder if we could do it through chat. I haven't turned on my chat. Let me see if we can do it through chat. And if anybody has any questions, maybe I can. Yes, I have chat. So if anybody has any questions, you can write a question on the chat and I'll answer it for you. And I hope y'all have liked what I've said and brought to you today. I know that we can all reach the third wave together. And I know we will do this. Okay, somebody has asked me to speak about my daddy's property. This was one of the things too. My dad was creating a community. And the Grateful Dead actually helped him purchase 350 acres of land in Nevada. And it was desert. Nothing could grow, nothing. And people laughed at him. But he made it look like a forest. He got things to grow in the middle of the desert, and people asked him how he did it. but he built um, wigwams and all kinds of structures on the property. And he did have people come and work the property with him until he got too sick to do that anymore. And of course, when he passed away, that was, I think Ted could tell you more about what happened to the land than I can. Um, but it's no longer in the family. Okay. The reset button for where I was saying that COVID was a reset button. COVID actually was a reset button to help reset the family unit, which became separated back in the 60s. Things started changing, like I was saying, that the kids were sent to boarding schools. Back then, the wife started going to work. Okay, and these are all the patterns and the cycles that we went through. When the wife started going to work, the children were left alone. That's where the latchkey kids came from, and it just continued in a cycle because both parents were working, and to the point where none of the families ever sat down to eat dinner together anymore. They were running here and there. Life was so busy that the moms would be grabbing McDonald's for the kids and running them to their soccer game or to a football game, and none of them ever sat down at the dinner table together and ate anymore. And so when COVID came, even though it was a bad thing and people thought it was a bad thing, you have to understand all of us was putting that out in our thought, not to have an epidemic, but we all every day when we got up to go to work go, God, I wish I could stay at home. I really don't want to go to work. Why can't I just have it a couple of days to stay at home? And guess what? The universe gave that to us. We asked for it. We got that time. But during this reset of us all being in the house, it brought the family unit back together, and families started realizing how much they had missed sitting at the table, eating together, and how much they missed playing games. And it really united a lot of the families. And we also had the other ones that it wasn't good for the families to be together because there was too much trouble in their household. But that is for us to recognize so that we can be a part of the solution for that. Those are some of the people that are alone and don't feel like they have anybody that will help them. But all of these were signs of the things that need to be taken care of. But we did get a reset, and all this snow that we've been having, that was a covering for Mother Earth so that she could get a good bath and get cleaned of the heaviness of all of our thoughts. That's what people got to understand. Our thoughts are energy. So every time you put a thought out there, try to be conscious and not put a heavy thought out there. Put a light thought. Anything that is negative is a heavy thought, and it creates a heaviness cloud that floats around that hits all of us. We don't understand it until you can understand how you feel the energy, because each one of us feels the energy. But most of the time when you get out and you go, it feels really not good today, that's the heaviness in the air from everybody's thoughts. So could you imagine if we all got together in an intention every day and just blew bubbles of love out into the universe? Everything you send out has to come back. So just remember that, because we can change the energy vibration. It's an energy vibration. It can be changed, but it has to be done consciously, through the understanding of it. Okay, let me go through here and see whatever, but I don't want to miss anybody's question. And just know about COVID, this is something else before I change the subject. Just know that COVID is also this virus um, runs off the energy frequency that they have sent out of a fear wave to make us all fearful. Viruses are going to come. We are going to get sick, but always realize you are the great physician of yourself. You can heal yourself through your vibration. If you hold a high enough vibration with inside yourself, that vibration of fear cannot even touch you. It will bounce off because like-minded energy attracts like-minded energy. So just remember that when you get fearful, it's going to attract more fear to you. So try not to be so fearful. Because once you walk through your fear, if you've ever noticed, it wasn't as scary as you thought it was. Once you get through it. Okay. Somebody wants to know about psychic defense. There are people out there that know how to use energy to send at you. It's like arrows, and it can hit you and hurt you. But you can also understand that you are a vibration energy pattern within inside yourself, like I was telling you. If you keep your vibration high enough, even if somebody is sending you a bad vibration out, it will not be able to connect to you. It will just bounce off of you. It takes a while to learn that due to the fact that you have an emotional self, and your emotional self is tied to the energy that makes you feel. And so if you feel these darts being thrown at you and they're painful, that actually can cause fear in you. So that's part of your ego itself that you have to work through and realize that you are not ego, you are spirit. Ego is your dirt body, the fleshly part of yourself. And another thing about energy that you have to learn is that it is a light code language. Okay, and when it runs through your emotional self, it is a language that comes through you, and energy flows. If you have a feeling of badness, sadness, anything, you dam that flow of energy up, and that's what creates blockages in you that you have to release at a later time, because you're not allowing this language to come through you. And that's what we got to realize, that it is a language that comes through us. It's not something that we own. It's not ours to go, oh, let me hold on to that, because when you hold on to it, then you're damming up the flow of energy. And that will actually cause you to become sick in your body because of that. Okay, the prophecy of the whirling rainbow prophecy is about when all the people of the world come together in unity and love and peace and want to walk that out wholeheartedly without any war or anything. And what will happen when that begins to happen, and we will see that when the third wave starts happening, people will share their food, like these communities that Spirit showed me that will be made. There will be many communities everywhere in the world, But what one community doesn't have, another community will share with them. And we won't want for anything because we'll be all connected, and we will have that knowledge that we are brothers and sisters, and that we will help each other. There won't be no fighting and jealousy or nothing like that, which goes on today. Because you got to realize you're everybody has been taught to be a somebody, and to be a somebody you have to be better than the other person, or you have to drive a better car than your next door neighbor or your brother or your sister. But you got to learn that you're a nobody. You're not connected to none of that stuff. That's all material stuff, and that's not what you're about. It doesn't mean you can't have it. It just means you can't be in your egoic self. There's a big difference. I do have a web. Somebody has asked me if I have contact information. I do have a Facebook page called ShaHaWin. You can find me there. And I also have an email address that is newselflove@yahoo.com. Mr. Simon, it is so great that you could attend this. I just love you to death. Simon's question is, how do you make the ego voice go to timeout? Well, sometimes when you're in that war with your ego self, and it is a war that you're fighting, and what you're doing is taming your ego. You must understand that the best way I can describe it is the way that it was showed to me was we have male and female energy that runs through our body. Our male energy, this energy eats energy. It does not eat food. It eats energy. So it's like the story of the two wolves. Do all of y'all know the story of the two wolves? Okay, the story of the two wolves are this grandfather, his grandson was outside playing with all his friends, but they were fighting, and the grandfather brought him in and said, "Son, you can't act like that because there's two wolves inside of you." And that one that's out there right now playing is very angry, and that's not the way to be. And so the grandson asked him that when they're fighting, who wins? And the grandfather told him, the wolf you feed. And it's actually correct. Whatever type of energy is in your thoughts is going to be the energy that you're feeding. So your male energy was only taught for the first time when it ate energy, it ate off of the male energy of ownership. Okay. And when that happened, everything, and this was about when you were 6 months old, this started, this training of eating on the male energy from ego, your shadow side. So it's something that your ego has ate from for many years. But the minute that you picked up your bottle or a toy and said mine, created ownership. And that was the first time that your ego fed. Now, your ego can feed off of your spiritual energy too. And when it does that, you become balanced, and your ego itself becomes your warrior within you. But until you learn that about the balance within inside yourself, you're going to always fight with your ego itself wanting energy. And that's when you're going to have blow ups because people pull in front of you and steal your parking spot. That's all ego. jealousy, hatred, all of that is ego. And all of that has to be recognized and understood, because it's like turning off a light switch. That's how easy it is. When you realize you're thinking like that, you can switch to the positive side and go, I'm not going to be mad about that. I'm going to send that person love. And when you do that, you automatically switch to your spiritual energy. So I hope that has helped, Simon. Only you can put your ego in timeout. You have to find the timeout room for your ego. It's all done with free will. Like I said, we have free will. So if you choose to be mad, then you chose that. So just turn right around and choose to be happy and be glad. And then you'll put your ego in timeout. Okay, somebody has asked about the corona shots. Should we get them? For me, I can't have the corona shot because I already have health issues that will not allow me to have the corona shot. But this is what I'm going to tell you. If you have fear that the corona shot is bad and you take that corona shot, then that fear is going to go through you because that's the energy you put in the shot. So pray over that shot, if you want to take the shot, that it brings health to you, not anything bad. Remove all the bad. You have that power. That's what people don't understand. You have that magic. That's magic. Creator gave us dominion over all things while we're here on the face of the earth. So stand up and use your dominion, because that is your birthright. So just pray over it. And that's all I can say. Some people will choose to take the shot and some people will not. But I will guarantee you that this wave, this corona wave that we're in, will pass. And something else will come along that we will have to deal with. But just remember, raise your vibration level. You raise your vibration level, only like-minded vibration can attach to you. Okay. Somebody's has asked what part does being aware of our intuition have? Your intuition plays a big part. That is actually your spirit guiding you to wake up a little bit more, that there's more information out there for you to bring in. Each one of us is putting together a puzzle piece, trying to figure out which way we're going to go, what's next. And when you're putting these puzzle pieces together, you see you're missing a whole bunch of them. So the more intuition that comes in, the more it will push you into looking for the rest of those puzzle pieces, so that you can put your whole puzzle together and go, oh, this is what I'm doing. So I hope that helps. Now, the patterns that we're in right now and that we're going into, as you can see, are still the patterns that we were in that had started back in the 60s with the children. One of the biggest patterns is the sex trafficking. And not only did it happen, back to the children, but now they're taking the women, because women are a commodity. And that's what people have to do research and realize what they're doing. Some of these Native women that are being taken are to have to be as birthers. that birth nothing but dark babies for these people. This has been going on a long time. It's a big industry. But the more people that become aware of it, the more we'll be able to stop it and bring all these people home. And when we bring all these people home, then we're going to have to step up and help heal the people because they've had major trauma in their life. We can't push them away, and that's one of the patterns too that has to be fixed, is the pushing away of people after they've been in trauma. Or let's just take the veterans. For example, there's so many veterans out there that do not get the proper care they need or anything, but they served for us in the armies to protect us and to do stuff for us. But when they got home, guess what? Everybody just turned a blind eye and said, well, they didn't even thank them for the service. We are now changing that. There's more people that when they see a person wearing a veteran hat or anything, they'll go, thank you for your service. But there's much more that we have to do to heal that, because that's part of the broken down pattern. Oh, we were never supposed to leave the elders out, because guess what? All of us are becoming elders. Okay? When we get a little bit older, do you want to be out on the streets not having a place to live because your family doesn't want you anymore? I mean, some of us are like that right now. We only get a small pension to live on, and we have to worry every day about how are we going to support ourselves. These are some of the problems that have to be addressed, because the elders are what is going to help bring the knowledge back to help raise the children and teach the children, hey, you're much loved, and it's going to give us a purpose. We're just not going to be old sitting in a chair rocking and going, I wished I had something to do. Well, we have plenty to do. It's just a choice that each one of us has to make. We have plenty to do, and we are the coming of the elders, and we need to fix, the homelessness, people that look down on everybody else, the ones that feel all alone, because you know how it feels to feel alone. I don't wish that on anybody, because that is not a good feeling to know. I was a single parent my whole life, and that was hard, being a single parent. That's one of the things we have to address too. We need to come back together as a unit of people, so these single parents don't have to do it on their own. They have a support system. They have a place where they can, get help. And I'm not talking about money, giving them money and stuff, but a support system to be able to trust somebody, to know that they're not going to get hurt or lied to. They're going to get good guidance. That's what we have to bring back to all the people. So I hope that has helped. We're going to try and see what the next question is. Okay. Somebody has asked, how do you share with others and protect ourselves at the same time? Well, it depends on what you mean by protecting yourself. Are you asking about protecting yourself from psychic attacks, or just protecting yourself because the person is mean? I'm waiting for you to type the answer in, because that was a broad question. There's many ways to protect yourself, but the biggest way is to keep your vibration high, because like-minded energy attracts like-minded energy. I mean, there's other things you can do. You can wear necklaces. You can pray over your necklaces. You can wear jewelry, you know. You can take a prayer bath. There's a lot of things you can do to help protect yourself from attacks. But just understand that in the years to come, these groups that we are making there won't be anybody attacking us. We'll all stand together and we'll be very strong. And the stronger we become, the less the attacks will happen. Okay. So I got the answer was from those who would shut you down from helping others or government regulations. For government regulations, let me tell you, there's a loophole in everything. You just have to search for that loophole. Politicians and everybody do that every day, and there are loopholes in everything. So there's a way to get around the government regulations. Just search for it. You will find that loophole. For people that try to shut you down, one of the biggest things that helps you get shut down is that you have that fear of being shut down to begin with. And if you rise above that fear and know that God is not going to allow you to be shut down because you're doing his work. And he has an army of spiritual warriors standing behind you. And that's where all of us will come in as spiritual warriors to stand up for the rights of everybody. But mostly it's the fear base. And that's how they do. They make you so scared that they don't actually shut you down. You end up closing down because you're afraid of what is going to come when they try to shut you down, and you don't want that confrontation. So a lot of people just shut their doors and back away. But that is all done with fear. And when you can see that it's coming from ego, and you're not ego, you can walk right through it with spirit, and they will wonder how you did it. So I hope that helped. And yes, we do need to identify the circles that are going to be created, because there's going to be many. There's going to be many circles. And as we start identifying to the ones that we want to help with, it's going to connect us to more circles that are being made. And eventually, you are correct, Susan, it's going to connect all over the world, all over the earth. And a lot of y'all have already seen that because of the grandmother circle of the earth, and how the 13 grandmothers have done it. They've went all over the world. So they connected. If they can do it, we can do it too. You know, that's the concept you have to have. You have got to stop being in fear that you can't do anything, because we are worthy of all things. Always remember that is your birthright. You're worthy of all things, and you can create and have everything because it is your birthright. You have dominion while you're on earth. And if you want to call it Satan or whoever you want to call it, always remember that you can bind up that Satan, that spirit of energy, and get it away from you, because that was given to you as a tool to use. And it's very powerful. We have many tools, and that's how the circle, if you look at the big circle, you can see the patterns of everything. Like there were master teachers in each culture that came and taught people on how to raise their vibration level, how to breathe right. Buddha taught how to breathe. Well, why do you think Buddha taught how to breathe? if we use his tools, we will learn how to meditate right, because there's a proper way to breathe. Okay. There's also, a proper way to reach your higher conscious state. I'm gonna go into religion a little bit. That's where Krishna and Radharani come from. They are actually, in their culture, the male and female side of God's mind. Okay, and with them they bring tools to use. So if you connect all these tools together, you're going to be able to see the tools that you need to protect yourself, to raise yourself up, and to understand each one of us will use a different tool, because we're not all the same. We are have our own identity, so each one's going to have a different thing that they use that is their gift, that gives them their strength. But if we bring all of our strengths together, we become a powerful force. And that's what we are. We're the second wavers. Yay. Because we are. So start shouting it. We're the second wavers, and we're going to make it happen. We're going to bring this healing to the kids, to ourselves. We deserve it. It's our birthright. Let's get it done. That's how it works. And I just love all of y'all, and I'm so thankful that y'all let me come and talk with y'all today. Even though I couldn't hear you, we still got it done. See, Spirit's good. And I love each and every one of you. I hope y'all contact me through my FaceTime, or through Facebook, or my email address. I would love to chit and chat with every single one of you. I'm always here. It might take me a couple of days to respond because I am quite busy, but I will answer any questions that you have. And if I don't have the answer, I will find somebody that can give you the answer, because that's just how it works. We connect, and the answer's out there. And when you go searching for it, you will find it. And tonight, I want y'all to really think about where you play a part in all of this second wave. And I hope it has helped you understand what we're actually doing and where it's going to go to, and what's going to come about all of this, because it's a beautiful thing, and we're all a part of it. And I think I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you, ShaHaWin.
I can't hear you,
I
but I love you. I love each and every one of you.
Okay, so.
All right. I'm going to get off of here, and I'll see you next week. Y'all, please, Ted is coming to see you next week. He's a wonderful person. This is one thing I forgot to say. Each and every one of us will need people to help guide us when we can't see straight, and we need some stronger guidance. Always find you a good seer that can give you good directions. Ted is one of us, and to help you work through some of the issues that are keeping you from not being able to see your path clearly. But I know you're going to enjoy his talk. And thank y'all for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, ShaHaWin. I know you can't hear us, but I'll call her in a few minutes when we get off this call. What she said toward the end is true. It's really important. And I can speak from my own experience, but I know, because I know a lot of you, that we've all been going through some pretty intense things in the last year, maybe even 2 years or whatever, where in the growth that we're undergoing so that we could move into this next wave, as she's talking about, we've had to let go of a lot of things that maybe weren't good for us, but we didn't realize that at the time, or that we're so used to holding on to that it was difficult to separate our fingers and to leave them. And so there have been wonderful people like Oh, like ShaHaWin. ShaHaWin for me in my life has been amazing. And she's been there. She's been here to our little town several times, as I said in the beginning, and she's just wonderful. So she's really good at that and really good at understanding what it is that we each need to do. So if you need someone, Ted is another one. And we're surrounded by people like that. We are now with the Zoom calls. We have this amazing opportunity to have people right in our home with us. We don't have to go anywhere, you know, we don't have to do anything. And they're right here bringing these beautiful teachings. And so that, you know, at the end, we have things to think about all week long. So, you know, we were talking earlier in the first call that I was on. Leon Secatero was one of my elders. And grandfather Leon was a Navajo man, and he was up in Ottawa one time and he was speaking and he had a stroke at the podium and collapsed. And what he told us about later was that he left his body and he went to the land of the windwalkers. And he said that when he got there, all that he could see, just from horizon to horizon and beyond, were circles upon circles upon circles. And in the closest circle to him, there were the elders that had been there in his life while he was growing. And there was his grandfather, and there were other people there that he recognized immediately because they were his. And so they made space for him to come and sit down in that circle with them. And he did. And they talked to him and they shared with him different things and talked about experiences that he'd had. And then in the end, they told him that he couldn't stay. And he was so disappointed because he was tired here and he wanted to go and he wanted to be part of those many, many, many circles. And they said, no, it's not time. So he came back. And so one night I was in New Mexico when he was there and he was speaking at the fire. And he said to all of us, there were probably 30 people there from different tribes. He said, if anybody wants to have a dream tonight, go and lie down below the staff. It was up on a little tiny bluff, maybe 20-foot bluff. He said, lie down, there was sand down there. He said, go sleep there tonight and you'll have a dream. And I was thinking, well, that's a nice idea, you know, and I'm watching him. And then he looked right in my eye and said, if anybody wants a dream, go sleep over there. So that was the end of me. So I went back to the tent where I was staying with other grandmothers and I made sure everybody had what they needed because it's always my job. And then when everybody was ready for bed, I left and took my sleeping bag and went back to the sandy place below the staff. And I laid down, there were already bodies there, people sleeping. And I put my sleeping bag down next to someone and I got in and immediately went to sleep, immediately. And I had a dream. And in the dream, I was looking everywhere for Leon and I couldn't find him. And I went to the fire and he wasn't there. And I don't know how I got there, but I went all the way back to the reservation that was almost 2 hours away from where we were, back to his little res house in the neighborhood there. And I went in and there was nobody there. And I went into his bedroom and there was nobody there, but there was a hatch door in the floor of the bedroom and it was open. And I looked down and I could see steps that had been carved out of the rock. And so I quickly went down the steps. And as I did, I saw him at the end of a long hallway with several people. And he was the last one. And he turned around and looked at me like, what's taking you so long? Hurry up. And so I quickly ran down the hallway and I went in. And it was a huge room. And it was just made of rock as though it had been all carved out of rock. And over there in one corner were some of the men they were inmates in the federal prison that I was working in at the time. And they were whitewashing these rocks with brushes of white paint and turning the walls into this beautiful white, beautiful, expansive room. And then I looked and way on the other side was a doorway. And Leon was standing there like, what are you doing? Come on. And I went running over there and I woke up. And the message that I got was, follow the ancestors. So the next night at the fire, he planted the seeds for Grandmother's Circle of the Earth. And he told us that we were going to be traveling all over the world and that we were to take the things that we'd been given And we weren't to worry about what we were going to say. We were in places like Hungary and Poland and the Netherlands where, we didn't speak the language. And he said, don't worry about anything. Just open your mouth and let it go. And he said, and don't forget the circles. And then he said, and then keep going back. Don't just go once, keep going back and going back. And so that's what we were doing. And we never figured out how we did it because we never had any money. Literally. I even got called in for an audit by the IRS. And I had no money with this organization that they sent me a check. Who gets a check at an audit, But that's how it worked because it was bigger than us. It was bigger than any of us, just like this work right now on this is. And so what we're going to do is we're going to be embedding these talks into our website so that they're always there. They're always free. We don't charge for them. We're not ever going to ask people that, to pay a fee to be able to get on, because it's not about the ego. It's about the message. And that's how it is for all of us. To be the wind voices, we have to step away. We have to step out. And we have to let that wind blow through us. And as I sat with Joanne Shenandoah, and she sang today this beautiful song for rescuing women. And as she did that, she stepped out of the way. And I could see forever in the song that she was singing. And the same thing with Barbara, when she was talking about the different elders and the different experiences that she'd had in the teachings. I watched her step out of the way. And yes, there will be opposition to what we're doing. There will be. I mean, I don't know if you guys noticed, but even just on the Grandmother's Circle the Earth page, there were 2 attacks today. Why are we doing what we're doing? Why are we doing this? As though it were bad. And it kind of made me wonder, what are those guys doing? Who do they work for? How would anybody not want to go find children? How would anybody not want to do this? And we're not asking for anybody's money. It's not like we're going to figure it all out, because it's just like Leon said, just show up with a clean heart and a pure intent, and everything that we need will be given to us. So as ShaHaWin gave us today, the vision of the waves, and we all got different things. If I were to sit with each one of you and say, what did you hear her say? It would be different for each of us, because that's what it's like when the wind is blowing through the person who's teaching. And we're the ones that are the recipients of that blessing. So I just want to tell you guys, like ShaHaWin said too, I love you. I'm really blessed because I know who most of you are. But if I don't know you, it doesn't change anything. I still love you, because that's what it is that has been given as a gift. And it's the gift that we all carry. Because right now, that's what matters. We're lifting each other. We're rising, like Maya Angelou said, we're rising. And as women, we have the ability to do this together because we cooperate. The men are behind us, and they are the wind as well, blowing through us to help us to do this. So together, we will come and we'll work together, and we'll bring the children home. We'll find the women. And as we said today, some of them aren't going to come back, but they will know, no matter what, that we have not forgotten them, and that we will not stop trying, because that's who we are. And so I just want to say aloha, aloha keakua, with the breath of my life. I thank you for the sacred work that you are doing in whatever place you are in this world, in whatever seat you have in the circle. Aloha, keakua kuleana, mitakuyasi. We're all family. Ilakesh, alakin. I am you, you're me. Namaste. Aho. Thank you all.